everybody, how are we all? Paul79 here. I hope you're safe and well. Well, it's been a while. I'm looking a little different. No, my hot water hasn't gone wrong again, but I've just come back from a lovely 10-day break in Cyprus. Went to a lovely hotel near Pathos. It was called the Atlantic Aphrodite Hills, courtesy of TUI. Lovely 10-day break. It was a very special holiday, best one I've ever been on, and yeah, I am now back, well rested, feeling relaxed, and raring to go. Got back a couple of days ago, just in time for the GCSE results, and I'm pleased to say my beautiful daughter Verity absolutely smashed them. Well done, my darling. We're all very proud of you. Also, a little shout out to her good friend Keith, who really smashed his GCSEs as well, so well done, Keith. But yeah, it was a great holiday. Good to be back. I also need to say a big thank you to Joe, Jodie and Paxton, who very kindly looked after our house and our plants, and watered them while we were away, so that was all good. So thank you very much. I hope you enjoyed your presents. So what are we going to talk about today? Well, this video is going to be in two parts. So part one is just basically going to be a load of holiday shout outs, because I met a lot of really nice people on holiday. Some of them like cars, some of them like talking about the channel, and also a few thank yous, because we really did have a good time. And then part two is going to be the car stuff. And what I'm going to talk about, and it's a bit ironic really, because my white car has its MOT tomorrow. I'm going to talk about, someone asked me, what do you need to do to get one of these cars on the road, once you've built it. So we're going to go through all the details that is involved with that. What I will try and do is I will work out when the holiday stuff ends and the car stuff begins, and I'll put a little message below saying the time, in case you don't really want to hear about my holiday, because it's not everyone's cup of tea. But yeah, and also I'll try and be really clever and put a sort of a skip, a break in the video, so you can skip right to it. Okay? So on to part one. So I just want to give a few shout outs to some people. I met a lot of lovely people on holiday. Some of them like cars, talked about the channel and stuff like that. So first of all, thank you to the TUI reps. There are a lot of them there, all very talented, and they just make sure you have the best holiday, like with activities and the shows in the evening, and it was fantastic. In particular, just want to shout out to Roberto, Molly and TJ. They and all the others just worked tirelessly to make sure you had the best holiday ever. So thank you very much, guys. I met a little boy called Bertie and his mum and dad, Matt and Anne-Marie. Bertie's an absolute legend, loves Lego, great swimmer, and he supports Manchester United. So yeah, big shout out to you, Bertie. I hope you're having a good holiday. I think you're still there. Played golf one day in the 35-degree heat. And about halfway round, we were a couple in front of us, Gianfranco and Simonetta. They asked if we wanted to sort of pair up and do a 4-ball, which we did for about 10-11 holes, and it was really nice. And they were from Italy, and yeah, had a good chat. I wasn't playing particularly well because I haven't played for a year, and I was losing quite a few balls. So Simonetta very kindly, gave me a few, and I chose this one because it looks like a football and it's reds for Manchester United. Another shout out, Fraser and his dad. They're both big Lego fans. I saw them taking photos of his Star Wars Lego for his Instagram. Very impressive. Keep up the good work, boys. You're never too old for Lego. So one of the best things about the holiday was also the evening entertainment, and you had the TUI reps putting on shows, all very talented, like did an ABBA show. That was fantastic, really enjoyed that. But they also, had guests flown in to sort of perform for us. A couple of shout outs. I need to give a shout out to Johnny Cole, a comedian, musician and singer from Birmingham. It was fantastic. I hadn't laughed so much since Lee Evans. He's definitely well worth a look if he's playing near you, because he is just so funny, and really enjoyed it. Also a shout out to a lovely lady called Jenna. She is a singer, songwriter, presenter, very powerful voice, absolutely smashes out the songs, you know, in particular Purple Rain at the end. I can't stop listening to Purple Rain. So thank you, Jenna. We really enjoyed that. We have front row seats and it was a great show. So thank you very much. Well done. And finally, I just want to give out a shout out to the hotel staff in particular, because, you know, again, they also work tirelessly to make sure you have the best holiday ever. First of all, to Andreas, the man who can get you anything. If you need another sunbed, he will get you one. He keeps them in his pocket, I am sure. The staff at the pool bar, you know, I kept them very busy over those 10 days. And I know I'm going to say this wrong, so please forgive me. And Tria and Panikos, you are legends. Thank you very much for looking after me and my family. And finally, I need to give a massive shout out to the best pool waiter in the world. His name was Leo. He looked after us for 10 days solid, you know, kept us supplied, me and my family supplied with drinks. Some of them were non-alcoholic as well, but he was an absolute legend, always cheerful, charming, happy. So Leo, you are a legend. Thank you very much. Right, that's part one done. And also, by the way, a lot of the shout outs, especially to Johnny and Jenna, I will put the links to their Instagram in the description. So that's part one done. So now we're going to talk about getting one of these cars actually on the road for you to enjoy once you've built it. So, part two. How do you actually get one of these legally on the road? Now, what I'm going to talk about is just my experience with kit cars and these sort of cars. It's going to be very UK based, so I'm not talking for, you know, the US or Europe. I don't know what the rules are there. But yeah, this is purely from a UK perspective and my experience of how it's been. Now, if you Google kit cars, right, generally what will come up is the definition of a kit car is a car that's been hand built by someone, often using parts from other cars, often on like a chassis that has just been made from scratch. You know, it's got no sort of original engine, body number, chassis number, etc. All the cars that I have built, technically they're not kit cars, I suppose, if we're going to be anal about it. They're rebodies. All the cars I've done, the Ferrari and these two Porsches and this Porsche, I've started off with a normal production car, right? That's got, you know, an engine number, a chassis number, whatever, a VIN plate, etc, etc. And what we do here is we effectively just rebody it, yeah? We take all the panels off, or most of the panels off, and make it look something different. It's just basically a glorified body kit. And the reason why it is a lot easier in this respect is you still retain all the sort of production car sort of comforts like airbags, power steering, the engine. You don't have to do anything really. On all the cars I've done, I haven't actually had to do anything to the engines, right? I know I put a V6 in the Ferrari, but you know, that was my choice. All the Porsches I've done, all standard engines underneath, you know, the servicing, etc. is all exactly the same. And because they're rebodies, what that means is, and you may have heard this, is if you do a proper kit car like a Cobra or a Caterham, you have to have a special sort of test called an IVA, right? Which is where a scrutineer will go through your whole car and he will check every nut and bolt to make sure it's safe. Which is fair enough because you have literally built it from pieces, yeah? With these, you don't need that, right? Because at the end of the day, all we really change on these cars is the outside of them, not the inside. So all the safety features like bumper bars, etc, etc, are still retained. What I'm going to do is I'm going to actually do a walk around this car and actually talk about what exactly I mean by that. Okay, so you've all seen this before. This is my fourth car. It's a Porsche Boxster underneath with a new set of clothes, basically. And while I was talking about the bumper bars and the reason why it doesn't need a special sort of test, all it is it's just got a new sort of outside. Nothing structurally has been changed or mechanically on the car. I mean, I know I've put stuff like coilovers on there and new brakes, but you know, that's all standard. You could do that to a standard Boxster anyway. I talk about the bumper bar. You see this thing here that I'm tapping on, that's the bumper bar. So if I drive into someone or someone backs into me, you know, I'm still going to have the original protection of the bumper bar. If we go into the interior, you can see, I know it looks a bit of a mess. That's the airbag, that's the passenger airbag. That'll still work as normal. There'll be an airbag in the steering wheel as normal. On the doors, you still retain the same doors, so the airbags there are all standard. You can change the door cards if you want, but you know, I just keep it. I mean, at the end of the day, it's a Porsche, you know, so it's not going to be too shabby on the inside to start with. On the rear, you probably can't see. Let me switch my torch on. You see there what I'm pointing at, where the tip of my finger is? That's the rear bumper bar. Doesn't touch it, yeah? In fact, you've got even more of a crumple zone here, if you want to think of it like that. I had to think about it getting crashed, but, you know, it's actually... The actual rear, the GT3 RS bumper comes a lot actually further back than the Boxster. So, you know, you've still got that. So at the end of the day, you know, you're going to be no worse off than you were before, safety wise. The only thing I would say, and I've said this many times on many videos, because because this now has a hard top, but it's not a proper hard top, is it? It's fiberglass, it's not metal. You still need to keep the roll cage in your car, which, you know, it used to be a convertible, so technically when you had the roof off and if you rolled it, you know, the roll cage would protect you. I'm still going to obviously keep that in there, and you've got to. I mean, I'm putting a new yellow one in there, but that's really for aesthetics. On my white one out the front, I've kept the original Boxster roll cage. So it's all very standard. So because of this, because it's a standard car underneath, mechanically, you don't need a special IVA test. All you need is a standard UK MOT. And in fact, I'm taking my white one for an MOT tomorrow, and I might do a video on that. I did one last year. Be interesting to see how many miles I've done in a year. I have driven it a lot, and why not, yeah? Because this is the beauty of these cars, is you can build a car for not a lot of money, and you can use it every day. So your car's got its MOT, it's roadworthy, right? What else do you need to do? Well, in the UK we have the lovely department called the DVLA, which is a massive place. It used to be a nightmare. It's a lot better now because you can do a lot of the stuff online. But you have what is called the V5C, right? So this is the document that basically, it doesn't prove you own the car, but it's all the details of the car. It will contain everything about what the car is. It'll have the VIN plate on there, etc., etc. So, if you build one of these cars, what do you need to tell the DVLA? Well, technically, you bought a Boxster. Underneath it's still a Boxster. And this was the same for the Ferrari as well. The Toyota Ferrari. What do you need to tell them? Well, officially, all you need to tell them, or you only need to tell them, if you change the colour of the original car. Right? So I actually, when I did the Ferrari, the Toyota MR2 I bought was red, and I painted the Ferrari red. So in theory, I didn't need to actually tell them. Now, that was over 10 years ago, and the reason why I still told the DVLA what I'd done is because in those days you had tax discs, and on the tax disc it gave the name of the car, right? So it's no good having your fake Ferrari pull up if the tax disc says Toyota on it. And people did amazing things, and I did the same. You know, you would position the tax disc so that the windscreen wiper would cover where it said Toyota. But you know, as most of you know, in the UK we got rid of tax discs a few years ago, and so it doesn't really matter. But often what you can do is you can change the vehicle description, and sometimes they might ask you to do sort of a vehicle body modification form. I definitely did that for the Ferrari. I can't remember whether I did it for the Porsches or not. But on the Porsches, because that's what we're sort of talking about now, because you can't do the Ferraris anymore. On these documents, right, it will say the make of the car and the body type. So on both of, when you have a Boxster, it will say Porsche. It will say Boxster. Hang on, let me check here. This is for this one. Yeah, so this says make Porsche, model Boxster S, body type convertible. So what I have done on the white one out the front is I filled in the necessary forms from the DVLA, and it now just says make Porsche. It doesn't say the model, right? Because also the other thing about it is in the Ferrari days, you could sort of suggest what you wanted the car to be called, and you were at the mercy of the guy or girl who was processing your application, whether they agreed with your suggestion. And I think for the Ferrari, it got changed to, I wanted something, obviously didn't want the word Toyota in there, but it still got left in there, and it was called Toyota Spider or something like that. Anyway, it didn't really matter because by that point the tax disc had gone anyway. So the white car out the front now just says Porsche. The body type has been changed to a coupe as opposed to convertible, and that's it. Doesn't really matter really. And obviously I changed the colour because the Porsche I bought was sort of silver and it's now white. Yeah, so that's a very sort of straightforward process. It's not going to delay you getting your car on the road as such. You know, it's just one of those things that you sort of, I think you'd sort of feel that it's complete if you sort of change those things. You don't have to do it unless you change the colour of the car, and chances are you are going to change the colour of the car. So if you're going to have to talk to the DVLA, you might as well go the whole hog. Get it changed to a coupe as well. Get rid of the convertible word. Get rid of the Boxster word. And then you're good. So you got your MOT. The DVLA is happy with what your car's called and the colour of it. The last thing you need to worry about is insurance. Right. Okay. So you bought a Boxster. It cost you 10 grand, let's say, £10,000. What you don't want to do is insure it as a Boxster that's valued £10,000. Now, with cars like this, you can't just go on go.compare, sorry now, and put in a quote for it, because it isn't really a Boxster anymore. What you need to do is you need to go to a special insurance company. Now, in the UK, there are a couple. There's probably more than a couple now. Adrian Flux, Footman James are the ones I always remember. I've always used Adrian Flux, did all my cars with them. Often people ask me, you know, oh, does it cost a lot to insure? It doesn't really. You've got to go to the right place, and often the insurance for kit cars or rebodies like this is actually less than sort of normal cars. Why, do you ask? Well, the thing is you've built a car like this, or you've got a car like this, it's your pride and joy. You know, you're not necessarily just going to leave it in a supermarket car park overnight to get vandalised. You'll often garage it, although I don't on mine. You know, you're not going to drive it as much, you know, which I do. So I'm doing all the opposites here, really. But, you know, technically, you know, if you've got your Ferrari, so my Ferrari, you know, it spent most of its life in the garage. I did 300 miles a year in it, so the chance of it getting nicked or damaged is very low. Hence, your insurance premium will be low. Unfortunately, this particular model is a 3.4S, and I think the tax on it, so the tax, actually, let me talk about the tax first. The tax is just standard tax, yeah, because that's just based on the car and the engine and how much it pollutes. Fortunately, this is a 3.4S, and I think the tax is about £450 at the moment. That's not going to go down, is it? That's only going to go up. But yeah, that is what it is. That's just standard. The tax is just like a normal car. You tax it like a normal car. If you've changed all the stuff at the DVLA, when you get your tax reminder, it will be what you expect. It will be your Porsche coupe, etc. But for the insurance, you need to go to a special place, right? Now, when you go to these special places, you need to make sure you talk to someone who knows what they're talking about and actually understands what you've done to this car. Now, these are often just brokers, insurance brokers, who will then actually go out to other companies and actually give you the quote. So I go through Adrian Flux, but when I actually get my insurance certificate, it's something else. However, the most important thing you must do is get an agreed value on these cars, right? Because there's no point, you know, so I put in, this is a 15-year-old Boxster. They will say, well, that's probably only worth about £10,000. But if this got written off or smashed up, you want more than £10,000 because you've obviously put more money into it than the £10,000. So you need to get an agreed value. Now, Adrian Flux, Footman James, they all do this. And what that will often involve is just you having to send them 7 photos of the car. So side views, front and back, a couple of interior ones, maybe one of the engine. I've done it so many times and it's all fine. A lot of it's done online. I've never had to have someone come out and look at it. That might be for some more rarer type of kit cars where they come out and inspect it. I've never had that, and I've got 4. I've had 4. So it's all fairly standard. And in terms of what your agreed value is, well, where do you start? I normally start with the sum of the parts, right? And, you know, on my white one, I've got an agreed value of £40,000 because that's basically what it's worth, I think, or it might be worth more, who knows. But all I'm saying is you need to get an agreed value, right? And don't take out a policy without ensuring that that is in place, right? Don't drive the car unless that is in place, okay? It's very, very important, okay? And I think that's about it, really. So that's very sort of quick overview of what you need to do to get one of these cars on the road. So I hope that's been very useful. I'm still working on my next project. I'm not ready to reveal it yet, but it's going to be close. What I've also done is I've ordered a roller door for this garage. Let me pick up this stick. So at the moment we've got these big doors, you know, these big open doors like that, and they're a bit of a pain because if you come out here, I've got this in the way, which is fine, you know, it's not like I get the car out, but when I open up these doors, you know, that obviously bangs into that, that bangs into that, and because it's wood, you can see the heat, you know, because we have such sort of unpredictable weather here in the UK, it's all a bit it get warped and everything like that. So I just thought I'll get myself a roller door. I've got one on the front and it's brilliant, but I had it fitted and it cost about £1,000, but I found a company that will supply it for me, so I can do it myself, and I'm sure I can manage it. So I've started getting it ready, yeah. So you're going to have a big space here for the door, and it'll roll down and it'll all be lovely. And especially as I've got a new project coming as well, I'm going to, you know, be using that up and down all the time. So yeah, so there we go. I have no idea when that door will turn up, but hopefully it'll be soon and we can get that done. And I just need to get on with finishing this one. I'm going to go off now, finish this video, and I'm going to start writing a list of the bits I need to do to get this ready to send it away for 6 months to the paint shop. Anyway, I've talked a lot now and I'm a bit tired. Gonna go and have some dinner. Hope you're all okay. I'll see you on the next video. Take care. Bye bye.